All right, let's go. Let's talk some stocks, gentlemen. What are you guys looking at this morning, Mr. Bry? What's these oil prices are going to go to 70? That's what everybody's saying. I bet you're going to say not so fast. Inflation's going to go back to 3%. I'll bet you're saying not so fast. We got a Fed meeting
I
on
think,
Wednesday.
I think, yeah, yeah, that's more what I was wanting. Like we have the BOJ and the Fed this week. We have 20 central banks this week. We have a shortened week in the U.S. We have the June
Juneteenth.
19th or Juneteenth or whatever we call it.
Juneteenth.
That's it. How many years has that been a holiday? Is that I can't really remember. That's like a relatively new holiday,
Pretty
right?
new. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so shortened week. We have a bunch of Fed stuff this week. I think that this will probably be the last week of any kind of seriousness in terms of markets. But I want to talk about real quick is that the Mythos thing news over the weekend. If you guys saw Anthropic, and Robert can chime in here because we talk about this stuff all the time. I mean, the idea that they were marketing, oh, we have this dangerous, it's so dangerous, we got Skynet, and then it kind of was an own goal that they shot themselves in the foot, don't you think? Like now the government's like, we're gonna take it away from you because you can be jailbroke, and it's like, well, all these models can be jailbroke. So now what does this mean for Frontier Labs? And then you had Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, come out and say, kind of walking down or walking back the Frontier Lab. Robert, what do you think about this development?
I don't know, my friend. I don't know anything about AI. We talk about it. It's impossible to know, what's going to happen. I saw a Ray Kurzweil interview, and he said agentic not for at least 5 more years, and Skynet not for at least 15 years. And he sort of, he's sort of called it a long time ago. AI. He's not building leading edge models these days, but still. So and then you have guys that think it's going to be next week. Here's what I think. I think both OpenAI and Anthropic are positioning themselves to take tens of billions of dollars from the U.S. government as an investor within the next 6 months. That's what I think. As far as to how the models are leapfrogging each other and what their capabilities are, that's way beyond my pay grade, my friend.
And what is the cost of that investment, Robert? Is the U.S. government going to have some say into what they're doing and how they do it?
Well, I think they could take it if they want. So, right? So under national security, you can probably, commit any kind of actions they
Right.
would deem necessary, right?
Well,
So why
I mean
not do it as why not do it in partnership, right?
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
yeah, I just think it's like basically these guys have these IPOs coming up. It's not great timing for that, right? And we as we talked about last week, Steve, when we had David Maris on the show on Monday, there was 2 price cut announcements last week. We have talked about, on my podcast and on here, talked about the fact that the price cuts combined with the price hikes is a bad look, right? They just literally took everybody up in the Q1 on the API pricing to what the closer to what their probably real cost is, and a lot of guys were balking, right? The Uber story. We don't need to run past it. We've talked about it in past episodes, but so if they're cutting prices aggressively, you just have to think about what is the actual economic model here, because it comes out that those $200 plans. I know for a fact that I can get $5,000 of work on it if you're like, hey, I'm going to max this out for for my window, and you're diligent about it. Like you can get a lot of extra value. Now, does everyone use that? I don't know, but like I think that that's a big story. Today doesn't matter, right? Like everything's ripping higher, and I gotta tell you, this guy Trump. Has there ever been a guy who could get more juice out of a lemon on the same damn headline than this guy? I mean, whether it's the tariffs or it's the war, it's just, oh, we got a deal. Oh, we got a deal. Like 39 times a deal, and then he's still getting it today. It's pretty amazing, honestly.
And on his birthday, and announced at 2:30, right before the futures open. I mean, could you tee it up?
I mean,
You couldn't make this shit up if you tried.
no, and he did an MOU docu-signed at the cage fight. I mean, it just, he lived up to being a reality TV star, reality TV president. Let's just say that, okay?
Amen. Not
But on the
definitely
rest of the
definitely
market,
entertaining for sure.
on the rest of the market, I think interest rates, came down a little bit. Some of the rate sensitive stuff, our old friend Better Financial, I just saw was up 13%. So, maybe Rocket Mortgage, some of the staples, all that stuff that's rate sensitive maybe gets a little relief here. Gold has had a nice day gold's been pretty bad actually for a while. Like gold's after having that great start to the year, it took a little break, and so that's on the board. The memory stocks seem to never go down. Those things are flying again. And I don't know. I mean, like, I guess you got a question, like, where are we going to be
Do you
at
fade
in
the
back
move?
half of the year? What?
Yeah, exactly. When do you start fading this?
The stock
Do you
move or the
fade it?
gold move?
The
I would
stock,
guess-
the
I
equity
would-
move, and then the gold. Go ahead.
I would guess that if you really wanted to take an asymmetric fade move, like you buy next Monday or Thursday, maybe like 25 delta puts on the Qs or something like that right now. If you were like interested in taking a shot, because we have the BOJ tonight, then you have the Fed. If these guys come out hawkish, and they're saying, hey, well, we got to see, we're not going to give you anything like any bones, to the market, then you're kind of sitting on, okay, well, what is this AI story? And then what is the actual economy looking like? Oh, and by the way, some of the outer district have actually raised rates, like Indonesia just raised rates. So you could have a market kind of like get the relief of, okay, the war is finally done. We don't have to see, I mean, God forbid we see any more headlines. That just got really old in the tooth, like, right? And so that would be what I think. Otherwise, you wait and see what they say, and then you kind of assess. But I will say this, the period from, call it June 20th, June 19th, June 18th through about July 7th, historically is one of the best times of the year for stocks. Like, I used to like almost religiously go levered long stocks for 2 weeks in that period, just a various basket, but like that tends to be a good period. Even like if you look at a July 24 where we had the unwind and then we had followed by, even here on Wall Street Beats, I think this is when we still had Herb with us. We had Turmoil and Markets Day, if you guys remember that. We had like 7 guys on here in the early days of the Wall Street Beats. But that would be my guess. If you're really interested in fading, you probably wait until sometime post 4th of July to be serious. But if you were wanting to, I mean, we're at really high levels, right? I mean, right?
Yep. Don't fight the tape. Don't fight the tape.
I mean, that's the other thing.
Hi, I'm David Maris. If you like what you just heard, we've tracked every single pick we make on the show, every ticker, every thesis, every entry price, over 1,100 picks and counting. We put it together in a free report with our top 10 performers, the reasoning behind each one, and a preview of our full dashboard. If you want access, the link is in the description.